Hello, welcome to the channel. Hi, hello, welcome to the channel. I have not posted on this in several years, so I figure why not now? I've been watching a lot of knitting TikToks and knitting podcasts on YouTube, and of course I'm obsessed, and I really like knitting and crocheting and artsy stuff, so I figure I might as well share that. It is currently hot as heck. I live in the attic. I'm a little attic gremlin, but my air conditioner is on, so I don't die. But anyway, summer's almost over. It's almost fall, basically fall. The weather's still hot, but we have had a couple days where I'm like able to get away with wearing pants and I only sweat kind of to death. So that's good, that's an improvement. I love fall. Fall is just my time. I hate being sweaty. I love sweaters. I love knitted things. I love crocheted things. Garments. Yes! This is my first ever fall at home, not having school stuff to do, so I'm excited to kind of put my all into YouTube, see how it all goes. So a little bit about me. I am currently 22 years old. Still have some college left to finish, but I'm taking a break. I'm from Pennsylvania. I've been knitting since I was going into 2nd grade, I think. So quite a while. I can't do math, but however old that would make me. I basically started crocheting in college, end of high school to college. I like doing all kinds of creative things. I like playing with colors. I have a lot of yarn and I hate that. I hate having a lot of yarn and a lot of stuff. So I'm trying to work through my stash. So since summer is coming to an end, I figured I would talk about everything I made this summer with my knitting and my crocheting. I wrote stuff down for this and I even practiced some of the notes. The first project is quite big. It is the Campfire Cardigan by the Make and Do crew. It's a hexagon hoodie cardigan type thing. It's a little hard to show all on camera, but I'll have some nice fancy B-roll of me dancing around in it. Basically, it's one of those hexagon cardigans where you make big wavy hexagons, you put them together, and then voila, you have a coat. All the yarn I used was random stash yarn I have. It was all pretty much worsted weight acrylics. Really wanted to make a hexagon sweater because they seemed kind of easy. And you know what? It kind of was, because I'm not the best at crocheting when it comes to actually counting stuff. Granny squares and stuff are very easy for me to picture in my brain when it comes to like actually following the pattern. Just cast on a small bit at the beginning and you just build as you go. I hate weaving an end, so this was just a monster. Since I think the original pattern calls for like a bulky yarn or something, it doesn't originally call for worsted weight, so I was just kind of trying it on as I went and seeing how it worked. I crocheted both of the hexagons at the same time, so I would do one, like do 3 rows of one, and then do 3 rows of the other with the same hook, and then go back and forth and back and forth. I forget which hook size I used. It might have been my K hook, because that's the only hook I have that has a squishy handle. So I like using that regardless of the pattern. So it might have been that one. But in the pattern it says like work this many clusters for this size. By the time it looked like a little bear, like a sweater for a teddy bear, it was at like the extra large size amount of clusters. So I was just winging it. I was putting it on as I went, like kind of folding it up to my armpit at the beginning to see how it would look, and I'm pretty satisfied. It's a little cropped, but I really like that because I wear, like, my pants are a little bit more high-waisted, so I like when the crop kind of, or when the sweater kind of hits the top of the jeans. And obviously it's not going to be super warm, because if I put my arm inside one of the sleeves, holy crud, there's holes, because it's a granny square type thing. So it's not going to be super warm, but the original pattern is like called the Campfire Cardigan because it's like you're going outside at the campfire, so you don't want to be too cold, but you don't want to be too warm, you know. The sleeve, I didn't end up having to do a whole lot here, so it's kind of balloony, but I just kind of followed it, the shaping a little bit, but I ended up not having a lot of shaping room, so I did kind of intense shaping. And then I just decided to do a double crochet little cuff because I didn't feel like doing ribbing. So I worked them both at the same time to avoid like second sock syndrome, because I am bad at motivation. and like finishing projects. So if I finish one sleeve completely and then I have to do the entire thing to the next sleeve, I'm gonna pass out. And also so I could get the colors to correspond correctly, and so I could get the same look on each of the hexagons. I did them both at the same time, and I used up a lot of, like, this purple yarn I used up completely. You can't really see it, can you? But I hid a little rainbow in the armpit, so you can have a little bit gay. I like rainbows and stuff. And then this this yarn, the rest of it was pretty much yarn from a project I made for my dad, which I'll talk about later. And the hood is a little bit Death Eater pointy at the top, and I kind of had to fool around with it to make it look right, because I was kind of going off of like proportions of like, well, this many clusters for me equals this many clusters for the pattern. It says go 2 clusters, how many clusters do I have to go? I was trying to do that, too big brain. So I just kind of tried it out. It's not the best, but I'm seriously impressed with what I did. So that's really cool. Pat on the back. Alright, so that's done. Woo! I've been recording for 15 minutes, holy heck. This girl can chatter. So my next project I have hanging on the wall, so I'll just show some B-roll and stuff. And I decided to look on Bracelet Book for a pattern to use, a 2-colored pattern to do my first double knitting project. So this has, of course, just random worsted yarn from my stash, and I used white and navy blue because I wanted to do white and black, but the black was a bit too thick that it wouldn't really fit with the white. But yeah, so this is my first time doing double knitting. I didn't know how to do the pattern. I did it backwards. Like, instead of working from the bottom of the graph, I worked from the top. But, and I'm also not good at focusing, so I was worried it would go really wrong. So I was very organized. I had like stitch markers to like mark out the different lengths of each color. I had a clipboard and everything, so it was very professionally done on my part. I'm very surprised. But yeah, it looks really cool on my wall. I like looking at it and like drifting into space because I'm getting like hypnotized. But yeah, so that I really didn't realize how good of a resource Bracelet Book could be for like knitting things and crocheting things too. And that goes into my next 2 projects. I also did another double knitting, and this one I have right here. It's a little bit funky shaped, but I didn't want to block it because I'd used different kinds of yarn. I know this yarn is specifically Plymouth Encore worsted from my local knitting store. But here we are. Oh my gosh! Look at it! It's too big to be a tapestry because my walls are all like, I live in the attic, so some of my walls are ceiling. And the walls aren't that big, so yeah, but it's double-sided, of course, but the other side is a little cursed. Like, this one has no face, and this one is just all face. But I tweaked the pattern a little bit, so because the black yarn is too thick, so I had to double up on the features for this cat, so that it would actually show up. But yes, and this represents my cat Grace, who's a black cat, my cat Trixie, who's a calico. They're both so cute. I love my cats. And look it, woohoo! I think with double knitting, it's so easy to cast on loose and then get super tight up top. So that's what kind of happened here. I just have this laying out on my bookshelf that my cats sometimes lay on, and it's really cute. So yeah, this was 200 stitches, I think, because it was, I think it was 100 wide or something, which means 200 stitches total. So this took forever, but this was really cool. I really like double knitting, and when I got the graph right, it made more sense. So yeah, exciting. I don't know if you can tell by the lighting and or how tired I look. I've basically been waiting like 2 hours for my phone to upload to Chrome or to Google so that I would have enough storage to keep recording, because it was taking a while. So I'm feeling less peppy now. Let's dive back in. So I believe what I was saying last was that I made this tapestry crochet thing for my dad, and I used another Bracelet Book pattern, alpha pattern, and since this one is more than 2 colors, I tried my hand at tapestry crochet instead of double knitting like I did on the other 2. This was my first time trying tapestry crochet. I'm not sure how I like it. This one wasn't super good for that because with the checkerboard pattern, it looks a bit houndstoothy, which wasn't what I was going for. But my dad wears like checkered bands to school because he's a teacher, and he also likes orange and teal and stuff. So when I found this pattern, it's originally with like purples, I think. I was like, yes, this is perfect. I thought it was gonna be like a huge tapestry. It was like a coaster. So I don't know what he did with it, or like where he put it in his classroom. I think he has it on his desk or something. I was imagining it to be like a wall decoration, but it's just a little guy. But yeah, it was really fun to do, and took a lot of brain power, but I did it in one day. So that was nice. And again, I'm not super good at counting stitches in crochet, especially with like the next, what's it called? Turning chain. I always have a hard time interpreting the turning chain. Like, what does that mean? And am I counting like the tops of the stitches or like the posts of the stitches? Also, I suck at counting, so I promise I passed first grade. I suck at counting, but I managed to do this one. I printed it out and used my clipboard and cross up every row as I went. I had to divide the yarn up a bit to like get the different color spots differently, but yeah, it went pretty well. And again, I used a lot of the leftovers in my campfire cardigan. Woo! The next project I will be talking about is this. I'll have to get better footage of it later, but it's a huge blanket. Now, it's cotton yarn. You might be saying, a cotton blanket? But, this I decided would be like a picnic blanket kind of thing. It's a pattern I just kind of was winging as I was going. It started with this circle. Oh geez. It started with this big main circle. And then I just kind of like added shapes onto it. And I was mainly going for like color blocking, like big shapes. But then going around the perimeter of the blanket at the end was so hard. Like, I ran out of all my yarn. It's about as big as my bed, which is what, I guess, a twin bed. So it's pretty big. It doesn't quite lay flat. I tried to make the circle, like make pieces of it kind of circular around, but then it like didn't quite work all the way, so it's a little bit ripply. And then I tried to make that lay flat. So the rest of it is flat, but in the middle there's a bit of puckering. I'm kind of proud of it, but also I kind of hate it. But, and I kind of want to sell it or something, but I think my mom really likes it, and it is made from yarn that my grandma gave me, left to me. So, and she made a lot of dishcloths, so she had a lot of cotton yarn. I don't have a lot of use for cotton yarn, so I decided this would be a good, like, kind of stash buster project. It does look pretty nice on screen. Okay, so my last thing I wanted to talk about today, making t-shirt yarn out of all my old college t-shirts, where you cut all your t-shirts into yarn and then you like braid them and then sew them in a circle. And I really like that idea because I have a lot of t-shirts, and also I have this like one college sheet that's jersey material. It was humongous and like saggy, like a saggy elephant skin. It looked really bad. So I cut that up. That took me a day, at least a full day of work. But anyway, yeah, so I made a bunch of yarn. I still have to work through my gray t-shirts and my orange t-shirts, but I made a whole laundry basket full of yarns. And so here is one of my gray t-shirt yarn. I cut it to about like a little over an inch. It's not very consistent. So yeah, I highly recommend looking into making your own t-shirt yarn because it can be expensive. I do want to knit and crochet with this stuff, but I don't think I have the right crochet hook. Look at all my t-shirt yarn. Yay! These ones are from the sheets. I have a bunch of camis from Forever 21 that I was like obsessed with. A lot of those went into these balls of yarn. Yeah, so I'm excited to see what I can do with all of it, see how much it takes to make a rug, and then see how many rugs I can make. And if I can sell any, that'd be really fun. I also am scared to get the sewing machine out because I am not the best at sewing and I always get really stuck. So if you have any tips for sewing jersey, or like if you've ever made a t-shirt rug before, let me know. Yeah, definitely let me know if any of these projects you really liked. Let me know what you thought of this, and hopefully I'll have more videos up on here. I really like the community of knitters and crocheters on YouTube, and I've had a lot of fun watching them. So yeah, thanks for watching. Alright, bye!